Hello. Uh, I'm a technical person, so I'm an engineer. What I care about the most is code and technology. And as I get older, I realize that sometimes myself and other engineers as well may have a mechanized version of the world, a vision of the world, where we stress the importance of technology and we forget the roles that is played by other components that are difficult to measure and depending on how you are wired also to understand. And I was reflecting on this and reflecting on migration and reflecting on the fact that for a migration to work, you need a lot of different people to collaborate. You need people who understand the domain of the application, first of all, so that they can answer questions about what the application does, why a certain requirement was written in a certain way, and so on. But you need also technical people that are familiar with the different sides of the application. The original application per se can be complex, and so it may involve different technologies. But you need specialists that are familiar with these pieces of technology, but you also need someone who is familiar with the target system. For example, if you are migrating from RPG, you need to involve someone familiar with RPG, with related technologies like, I don't know, Query 400, uh, and the target language. For example, you're migrating to Java Spring Boot, you will need someone familiar with these technologies. And testers may be also involved. So there are different people that needs to interact, and they all have a different, perhaps, vision of the problem. They have different priorities. They have also different interests because, yes, ideally we should all be interested into the success of the migration. Is not necessarily always the case, and we may have differences like that could lead to focusing on different priorities. So I think it's because of the interaction of all these people, the fact that they can work well together is a key component. So while I would like to focus only on smart solution for transforming ASTs, these factors play a role, and I think you shouldn't underestimate it. And then there is another aspect that I think one could underestimate even more is that this interaction between human beings means that you can make the interaction more enjoyable or less enjoyable. And this has an effect on the work, I think, because everybody is involved in these different activities. Maybe is working on some task and working on the migration. And if every interaction they have with the other partners working with the migration is unpleasant, they will tend to maybe deprioritize this activity. While if every interaction you have is pleasant, you go to a meeting, you have fun, or at least you don't want to consider changing career after the meeting, then maybe you will be more motivated in doing your work well and not let the other members of the team down. So sometimes as an engineer, we work like we were not human beings, like we were robots. We used to say engineers do not live, they work. Uh, but that's just a joke. That's not reality. There is a human factor, and if you don't take it into account, this will bite you. This will affect the success of the project. It is just that maybe it's natural to focus on things that are more controllable, more easy to model and to understand, and more predictable. So technology is more attractive from that point of view. But that's not an excuse to not consider the human aspects of this interaction and not consider that this will play a role on the success of the project. So sorry if I was particularly confused today, but I hope this made sense. Thank you. Bye.